Welcome to Mishaps and Miracles. I am your host, JennieV, and I have with me again Queen Dean. Hello. We are excited tonight to have episode 3. We are well on our way of bringing great things to our guests. What we are going to discuss today is a heart of gratitude. It is the week going into Thanksgiving. It's actually a week from today's Thanksgiving. And so we are just wanting to express our gratitude for all of the things that have happened in our life, for the mishaps and the miracles. And let us not forget that even when things are not always going the way that we hoped, the way that we anticipated, that God will find a way to work things out or help us at least walk through the things as we're working. I think that it's fair to say that we have been through our share of disappointments, but we have also seen the manifestation of God come through in ways that we cannot even begin to express how grateful we are. And so today we are going to talk about things that we are most grateful for in this life, things that we have seen. And last episode, I did a lot of talking and telling my story. So I'm going to kind of just do some questions to Queen Dean, and I'm going to let her express her levels of gratitude that she has for all that has happened in her life, the blessings, and maybe some of the mishaps. Miss Queen Dean, coming into this Thanksgiving weekend, what would you say at this point of your life you are most grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful that I'm not where I used to be. And God has brought me from a mighty long way. A bit about me, I was in the streets. I sold drugs in the streets. And I did a lot of bad things in the streets. But God came and He delivered me out of the streets. And so where I'm at right now, God is head of my life. And I'm doing productive things in life. As we spoke about on the first episode, I have a business, Dean's Fan Art Designer Caskets, that I'm most gratefully for. I have 3 children, 3 girls. I didn't get to have a son, but I'm still grateful. I have my nephew, Felipe, and a host of other nephews as well. But I have 3 wonderful daughters that I'm proud of. I have 5 grandchildren, 2 grandgirls and 3 grandsons. So I'm thankful for that. Where God has taken me in my life, I'm very thankful for that. And where He brought me from, I'm very thankful for that. Yeah.
So I am thankful for you and for our friendship. I am thankful that God had His way with you and that He uses you as a vessel to change lives, to speak positive, encouraging words. And sometimes the words are truthful and they're not encouraging. Sometimes it's a guide for a warning before destruction, as we like to call it. The fortitude to be able to have such an intimate relationship with the Lord that uses you as a confidant. He uses you as a vessel to speak into the life of others. And so that I didn't know you in your past, just like when we talk about you didn't know me back in my clubbing days, or you didn't know me back in. So we don't know that version of the other person. All we know is that the moment that we were brought together and the union that we have because of that, that's something to be grateful for. I also, again, am very grateful for my son. It's a roller coaster ride raising children. You love them so much, and you want nothing more than to give them the
That's
best
the best
life
form. Yes, you do.
that you possibly can. You want to give them opportunities that you didn't get to have. One of the things that you and I talk about a lot offline is just even in the emotional aspect of raising kids and how we handle raising them differently than maybe our upbringing,
Correct.
the experiences that we had. We joke around, we laugh. As so Queen Dean and I are both Gen Xers. We're both 1970s kids. And so, I mean, even the amount of responsibility that we had at the young age that we had it, and then we kind of joke around about our kids still needing a lot of nurturing and handholding. But I do truly believe that that is part of what God put in us, is that He gave us a heart to love through the hard times, through the difficulties of life, to feed into these children, to pray over them, to give them a future and a hope that we have found in Christ, and to maybe rewrite or change up the way things were experienced in our life so that we can bring them into a life of positivity. And that's life is not always positive. I want to make sure that that we get that straight. Life is not always positive, but we want to try and give them the opportunity to handle situations differently than we did. I think one thing that we talk about is growing up, we were not taught how to manage our emotions. And so a lot of times, most people our age are angry. They're angry. They are using some kind of vice for escaping what the reality of their mind is, what's going on in their mind. So that's sometimes alcohol, drugs, sex, pornography, cheating on people, sleeping around, lying, cheating. And I had heard the word for thug is traumatized human unable to grieve. And I think that our generation is a bunch of thugs. Um, some are thugs for Christ, as we like to call ourselves, but we're traumatized humans just trying to unravel the grief that we are going through in our life, whether it be from any form of abuse, whether it be from parents divorcing, grieving a person that has passed away. We just didn't have opportunity when we were younger to actually process those emotions as we were going through them. And so I'm really grateful that we have opportunity to do that. Do you feel that you are able to execute that with your own children, or do you feel like you have a little bit more compassion or ability to like reason with your grandchildren than maybe you did with your children, just because there's like that level of
Well, I know then, raising my children, I would, but I did. I would, but because I meant what I said and I said what I mean. And so I would, but I don't whip my grandchildren like I would my children. And because they the grandchildren, I feel like I can talk to them more than I probably did. I was a talker and a whooper. Let me say that. I gave my kids something that I called opportunity knocking. I gave them an opportunity to sit down with me, have a conversation, and tell the truth because I'm a firm believer that the truth, it does what it says, set you free. The truth can make you build better relationships and help me to understand you better if you just sit down and tell me the truth of why you did what you did. You got to know why you're doing what you're doing. I feel like that at all times, young and old. You got to know why you're doing what you're doing. And so I used to give my children the opportunity to tell me what they did, tell the truth about what they did and why they did what they did. And then I would gauge it. In the beginning of the opportunity knocking, I didn't tell them that they were not getting a whooping. It was determined on the legalities of how bad the situation was that determined if it needed a whooping or not, or a punishment or not. Majority of the time, because they did tell me the truth, I let them go. I let them escape without a whooping because I loved the honesty about it, and I love that I want them to feel safe with telling me that. Yeah. I'm just grateful for that. I'm grateful for also, friend, for you also. I wanted to backpack on that. And I'm grateful for you also. And I'm grateful that God has chosen me to be a vessel, because the lifestyle that I used to live was not conducive with anything that the Lord had for me on my journey. Glad that I was in a space to where I was ready to give that life up, and that He didn't leave me out there in my mess, and that He's a forgiving God. That's, again, that's being thankful. Thanksgiving. I'm thankful that He's given me another chance, because that's what Thanksgiving is all about. Just the words of what it says, Thanksgiving. And so at that point, He gave me another chance to get it right. And I took the opportunity to get it right. Some people don't take the opportunity, but I did. And in the midst of me taking the opportunity, He also gave me a job, which was the call that He had upon my life. The whole reason of me being on this earth, of what He called me to do. And I'm doing that. I'm not saying it's an easy task to do, but I am grateful again and thankful again that I can reach people, because sometimes people are unreachable. And I have reached a lot of people through the Holy Spirit. Not me, but the Holy Spirit in me have reached a lot of people and changed a lot of people's life and healed a lot of people. And I'm thankful for that. So yeah, and I don't anything in my past. I'm not ashamed of anything in my past, because it's just what it is. It's my past. It has nothing to do with my present or nothing to do with my future. But I definitely want to tell about where He had brought me from. I'm
So
thankful.
let's talk about you. You had mentioned the walk. The walk is not always easy. You know, how many, it's been like almost 30 years with you, right? That you've
Yes.
been walking with the Lord. And I know for me, it's been 17, 18 years that, not that I didn't know of Christ, that I did not know of God, because I grew up in Catholic school. I think we've talked about that before.
Yes, yeah.
But I think that when you have that personal relationship and that journey and you're walking it, that a lot of times people think that it's a seamless transition. So when you go from living a life in the world, you're doing worldly things, and then you start walking a life with Christ, that people make the assumption that it's just like, once you accept that you're going to have that intimate relationship with the Lord, people think, oh, okay, oh, like they're supposed to just walk the walk and everything's going to be handy dandy, and everything is going to, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what it's supposed to look like. And so can you talk a little bit about the honesty of having a relationship with Christ and walking the walk? And I mean, I know you and I have many, many times had phone calls where we are both crying and we are frustrated and things don't seem to be working out. And then can you tell me a little bit more about that and just like your journey?
The walk is a walk of discipline. And if anybody know about discipline, in order to have discipline, you have to be consistent with things of life, and you have to do away with things. You have to lose friends. You have to uh, hold yourself accountable. The walk comes with discipline. And if you don't discipline and you want to walk with Christ, He will discipline if that's what He had for you. And so sometimes it is bittersweet, because we as humans don't like discipline. And so we sometimes can get in disobedience. And once we do that, not just disobedience to God, because we talking about disobedient to our own selves, the things that we say that we're going to do, that we don't do, the things that we know we should be doing, that we don't do. So again, it is also disobedient to us. But when we get disobedient to God, then He has to discipline us and put us back in our place and put us back on the walk. And so, yeah, some people think that when you become into Christ, that everything is PG creams and bills is paid and no more sadness, no more troubles, but that's far from the truth. That's when the trouble really arrives. And that's when because he's building a person. He's building a woman or a man of God. And to do that, he had to strip you from a lot of things. And in the stripping, and stripping is just, it goes from one extreme to the next extreme. Your inside character, your outside appearance, your outside character, inside and outside character. And all that he has to, your integrity, all that is tested, your morals, all that is tested because he wants to clean you out and clean you up. And in the process of doing that, everything that you think you knew, he reframed that. He changes all that. And yeah, and sometimes you gotta cry sometimes because it's things that you might want, but it's not good for you. And whatever we want, he wants you to want his will, whatever his will for you, for his life. And sometimes we don't want that because we as humans want what we want. And so that walk could get hard. But again, having a heart of gratitude makes you sit and ponder when you realize that it's all for your good. That's where you get thankful at, you know? Thankful that he didn't let that relationship work out. Thankful that you didn't get that job that wasn't for you. Thankful that he didn't let you buy that dud of a car. Thankful that, that he spared your life from drinking and driving. I'm a witness from that. Thankful that he gave you the best parents that you can have, even when the parents are making you mad, even when the parents don't seem to be saying the right thing. It's people out here without parents. And it's people out here that have parents that are not good parents. But again, sometimes us as humans don't really sit and think about all the goodness a day could bring, or a life could bring, or a situation could bring. That's real. And we do a lot of complaining and not enough sitting in thankfulness of what could have been, what should have been, what may have been, but was it? But it wasn't. And all that is because the goodness of God. So me, I have a heart of gratitude because I am so thankful that God kept me from the penitentiary. He literally kept me from the penitentiary. He warned me before destruction happened. And that's how he always do. Warning really always come before destruction. It's just sometimes we don't get it. But if you get it, the warning, and you turn from the warning, you sit back and you be so grateful that you heeded the warning. And I am that because I should have been dead or in jail. But I'm here on the podcast. Hi.
And making a difference. I mean, even now you're, you know, with this heart of gratitude, with this truthfulness, you're still making an impact because as we discuss how the discussions and we talk about our own personal lives, and then we bring guests on and they're going to talk about their lives, is that, a lot of times I feel like in the younger generation, so I'm talking to like 20, 20, late teens, 20-year-olds, maybe even 30-year-olds, and you look at your life and you don't feel like you're exactly where you should be because you're busy looking at somebody else's life. And the thing is that God has God custom made each of us in his image for our purpose. Like, everybody has their own purpose. We're not cookie cutters. We're intended to do what somebody else is doing. And we might feed into what the other person's doing, like what, we're doing the podcast right now, We're feeding into each other's lives. We're pouring into each other's lives. We're pouring into your lives. But it's not, and that's something that took me a really long time in my own journey to understand, is like, we are conditioned to believe that we're supposed to have this specific life and it's supposed to be outlined the way the people in our lives plan it out for us. And sometimes I'll even catch myself doing that with my own son, and I have to like realign. It's like, okay, Lord, what is your purpose for him? Because no matter what I think his purpose should be, you know what his purpose is. And so I ask that you bring people into his life that will guide him and that will, mentor him, positive friends, remove the negative friends, remove anybody who is not meant to. And that is heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking, like you said, in humanity, that when we lose people, we are like so torn to that desire that we wanted, that we don't realize that that breaking away is actually God's provision. That's God's protection. That's him saying, these people can't go with you into your next chapter. Or, this is not good for you, so I'm going to take it away from you. We've seen, the illustration of like the child giving Jesus the little teddy bear, and behind his back, he's got this huge teddy bear, and I don't know in my own personal life how many times I can say that God has replaced the big teddy bear for the little bear. And job rejections, a lot of times that people don't understand is most of us coming up, we were already on our own probably by the age of like 22. And when I say on our own, I mean, you were not on your parents' insurance. You did not live in their house. They were not paying any of your bills. You were paying your own bills. Most people were already married. Most people already had children. And so, a lot of times I don't know that people that are young realize how grateful, what an honor it is to have parents who still have you on their insurance, who are still paying your car insurance, who are still paying your cell phone bills for you, giving you money for groceries, letting you live in their house rent-free so that you can build your life, so that you can build generational wealth. And those weren't opportunities that we had because that wasn't the way it was when we were coming up. And what most people don't realize is, like, in our generation, most of us, if you were single, you had multiple jobs. You didn't have one job. You had 2 or 3 jobs to make your ends meet, to make things happen. Nobody was giving you anything. And I remember growing up, I had a friend, and like, I used to call her dad to hit her personal ATM because she would just be like, Dad, I need $20. Dad, I need $100. Dad, I need your jeans. She literally had like over 100 pairs of jeans that she never wore more than one time. My dad, if I were like, Dad, I need $20, he'd be like, well, you better work some overtime, And I used to be so angry with him when I was younger for being like that with me. But had he not been,
Yeah.
I don't know that I would be in the place that I am.
Well, these
I mean,
kids nowadays are so entitled because they didn't travel the road that we travel. And we give a lot because we wasn't given a
mhm.
lot in our upbringing. And so we give a lot. And now I can understand why our parents did what how they did what they did with us. And plus my parents, they didn't have a silver spoon in their mouth. They couldn't give. I had 7 siblings, so that was a lot in one household. Mama held that down. So, and I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful. I'm not spending this Thanksgiving with her, but I'm grateful that I can feel her in my heart. I love her and I miss her, but I'm grateful that she is with the Lord and she's not in pain down here. You know, it was hard in the beginning. So I wanted to spend Thanksgivings with her, making memories, but to be ungrateful and wanting her here and not being thankful that she's in a better place, that's not a thing. But these kids nowadays don't realize that the little things, it's the little things that you should be thankful for. And I can't even just say the kids because I'm running across a lot of entitled adults and they don't realize the little things that you could just be thankful for. You know, the waking up and the being able to open your eyes and having all the mobilities of your limbs, those are big deals. But people think that's a given. They don't have to be so. You could be one of those people that are living on the streets and don't have a meal every day. People don't think about those things as gratitude of thanksgiving, because those are the things that Thanksgiving is really about. The things that God has given you, the things that you are given now, the things that you're going to be given in the future. And all by itself is something to have a heart of gratitude about.
So you bring up a good point, and that's being grateful for what you have now and being grateful for what you have in the future. But one thing that you and I have always or have talked about a lot is the power of your words. People don't realize that even subconsciously when you're talking about something or you're thinking about something, one of the things that is something to be grateful for is not talking down to yourself anymore. I know that, in our journey that when you met me, that's something that is very, very important and that I don't think that people truly understand how much power we actually do have. God has entrusted us and he loves us enough to give us power, but a lot of people we use it, and I say we as in humanity, use it a lot for the wrong reasons. But the power of manifestation, and people say manifestation, prayer, whatever you want to call it, but speaking into your life the things that you want to have happen and seeing the way God can move in your life when you trust and believe in what you can't see enough to speak it as if it was already so. I am thankful that I learned to be thankful for a parking spot.
Amen. That's the little things.
Little things.
Yes.
I'm thankful that, I'm thankful for somebody thinking and making me coffee. I'm thankful for somebody bringing me a cookie. I'm thankful for somebody listening when they ask me what it is that I need, and then they actually heard it, and then they will work to make that happen. Like earlier, okay, so we were, again, to go back to my son, he's 12 years old, and this kid is just, he's a pain in the booty, but he is amazing because I was like, hey, can you make dinner? Can you start dinner for me? At 12 years old, I knew how to make dinner. He's still learning, but he came up and he made a grilled cheese sandwich, and it was a little toasty on one side, but he heard what I was asking
Yeah.
for and he made it happen. And so I'm thankful for people who listen. I'm thankful for people who ask you, are you okay? If they see something different in you, that they know you well enough or they recognize or see you enough to know like something looks different about you today. You don't look like you're okay. I'm grateful for those little things. People saying, "Are you okay? Is there something that I can do for you?" And I think that that's where we get confused a lot is that when people are like being asked to do something for somebody, it could be as easy as a prayer. It could be as easy as sitting with somebody during a hard time. Those are things to be grateful for. Those are the things that a lot of people take for granted because some people don't have anybody. They are absolutely alone in this world. They have no one. They have nothing. And like you said earlier, sometimes people get offended because, you know, the people in their lives don't say what they want to hear or they say it in a way that might be hurtful or disappointing. But the fact is that they have those people to be able to have that conversation with.
Yeah. And sometimes when, to piggyback off what you said earlier, like the little things, some people would think when you said a parking space and a cookie, that's just really something to not be grateful for. But we don't know what people go through in their life. And that a person thinking about you and bringing you a cookie, that's them thinking about you and being mindful of you. That's how you should look at it. Like, not just the cookie part, it's the being mindful of me. Somebody was mindful of me to bring me a cookie. That's really being thankful. Like, even if you don't eat the cookie, it's like, oh, you know what? Thank you. I thank you for thinking about me because you thinking about me, I could have been having a bad day, but the Lord put me on your mind to bring me that, which spruced up my day.
A
It's,
smile.
it's the little things. All of that is all the parts of having a heart of gratitude. That's what this topic is about today, having a heart of gratitude. And when she said to giving time and sitting with people who don't have and all that, and I remember I had a lot of people always come to me and always asking something for me. And at some point in my life, I had got a little bit overwhelmed because I always said some people always coming to me and I don't have people to go to. But the Lord spoke to me clear. And it's this one scripture out the Bible where I always said that I am the lender and not the borrower. And that means a lot. It don't just mean with money. And he asked me when I complained about that situation, he said, "You asked me to be the lender and not the borrower." And that made so much sense because anything that I'm lending, my time, my money, my house, my car, some clothes, whatever. So why are you complaining about them coming to you? Do you want to be on the other end of that? Do you want to have to go to them? He's plainly said it to me. And again, me being thankful, all I can say is, Lord, forgive me. And I thank you for making me the lender and not the borrower. Heart of gratitude.
That's beautiful. That really is. And thank you, because you just spoke to me. Um, you know, being a single parent is not easy. And you feel like you're getting pulled in 50
Absolutely.
million different ways. And you've got to figure out how to make it work alone. There isn't somebody else who is going to come and save your day
As much as you want them to.
as much as you want them to. And it's not anybody else's responsibility to do
Absolutely
that.
not.
But yeah, so thank you, because there's been a couple of situations lately where people have asked for me to help them. And, I think you and I have spoken about this before too, is just, having the boundaries of not being easily available to everybody, because there are a lot of people who just call when they want something. The only time I hear from them is when they want something. They want money. They need something. No matter what the something is, they only talk to me when they need something. And so, there's been some situations that have come up lately, and I'm working through some situations in my own life, and I didn't have the mental capacity to be able to give what this person was asking for. But I am thankful. Again, thank you, because of what you just said, is that he says in the word, to whom much is given, much is required.
Absolutely.
So if you are the lender and not the borrower, you may be pressed and you may be tired and you may be exhausted, but you've been given much. And I can honestly say I have been given much. I have been given much. I don't understand sometimes the favor that I have on my life. When I do go through difficult things, I am grateful. I have a heart of gratitude to know that I can look back. And so on my blog, Words with JennieV, I actually do have a blog called Rock of Remembrance or something like that. It's along those lines. But basically it's talking about when God had told Joshua to go and put rocks on the path that he was walking, so that anytime he got discouraged, he could go back to the rocks and he could remember what God has already blessed him with. And so in my journey this many years later, I can say I can look back at my track record of my rocks. And every time that I didn't think I was going to be able to make it to the next thing, or that this was so overwhelming that I couldn't see how I was going to get to the next part, or how it was going to turn out good when it felt like it was just so horrible in the moment. And so now I'm grateful. I do have the heart of gratitude to say, thank you, Lord, because I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I already know that it will, because you have already shown me who you are.
Absolutely.
And they say, when people show you who they are, believe them. And in this instance, when God shows you who he is, believe him. You got to not let the enemy misguide you and make you think like, oh, but this is going to be the big one. And maybe it is the big one, but you don't walk alone. I joke around, and I think I've maybe said it on the last podcast or something about my invisible friend. Like I used to have an imaginary friend growing up, and now I realize my imaginary friend is the Lord. And there are times when when I'm humbled, because I sit there and I think like, if I can visualize what my friend looked like, my friend is sitting right next to me and he's just sitting there like, like, I love you, I love you. One of these days you're gonna remember I'm sitting right next to you, or I'm walking before you, like when things are bad, and having that faith and that trust and knowing like I already am walking ahead of you. I'm already clearing the path as you go, even though the path may like have you ever thought about it like that? Like we're talking about rocks crumbling, right? So when they're doing demolition, like I really love construction. I should have probably been in the construction industry. But I really love to see when they're excavating and when they're building things and just like the whole entire process of it. But like, okay, if you imagine they're going to blow up the portion of they're going to make a highway somewhere, and they have to blow up the rock that is where the path or where the journey is going, and they're going to blow it up, and then like so there's going to be debris falling, right? There's going to be rocks falling on the ground on the trail, but it's still clearing it. It's still clearing the way for whatever's going to come next to move the debris out of the way. And that's how I look at God. Like, he didn't say that we wouldn't suffer. He said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper.
Yes.
But it doesn't say that it's not going to form. It says it will not prosper. Count it all
You
joy.
go through trials and tribulations, and say count it all joy. And that's him saying, I am going to be with you, even through the trial and tribulation that you're going through. Have a heart of gratitude, because again, I'm with you. I'm gonna make this trial and tribulation as smooth sailing as possible. But you have to go through a trial and tribulation, because that's what life is about sometimes. It's some trials and tribulations. But he overcame the world. So there's nothing that we can't overcome ourselves.
Have you ever looked back on your journey and you realize that maybe the trial that you were going through wasn't actually your trial? It was like a trial that you were going through because of who you were associated with, and it was actually their trial. And so you were like a casualty of their association.
Yes, absolutely. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. That's again people that God put in your life to help them along their journey. And so sometimes their journey intertwines with your journey. And if you have a heart for people, you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel their turbulence, because you feel for that person. Your heart goes out to that person. Yeah. And even that can happen good and bad. Because if God have told you to get rid of the person, or that you were supposed to already been put this to a side, so now they going through a turbulence that has an effect on your life. And just like the Jonah got thrown off the boat because he caused a storm, it's almost the same thing. There's a storm going on in your life, and it's not even your storm. And the minute that you throw that person off the boat, the storm cease and the sun will shine, the blessings come out, and you be like, ooh, peace.
Like I was
Come
gonna
on.
give you this the whole time. I was just waiting for you to
Yeah. Yeah.
release.
Yeah. But that's again a heart of gratitude. I am so grateful and thankful that I'm here another day, that God has walked this journey with me in spite of me, because I haven't always been obedient. I haven't always walked the straight path. I had squiggly lines through my journey. And I ain't gonna say even going forward, I ain't gonna have no squiggly lines through the journey going forward. But I know God will bring me back to a straight and narrow. And when she said that much is given, much is required, to whom much is given. But he also say, if you rule over good things, the small things, I'll make you rule over much. And so if you good with this, if you have the heart of gratitude for the little bitty things that he has done for you, if he helped you make it through a day without having an accident, without somebody having to cuss somebody out, use all your words in the wrong way, that's a heart of gratitude. And if he can see that he can trust you with the small things, then get ready for the big things, because he gonna do it. That's
He's
one
doing
thing.
it.
He's
He's doing it.
He's doing it. He's doing it. That's the truth. He's doing it. And so this is to just remind people for the small things, be grateful, have a heart of gratitude for the itty bitty tiny things that y'all think that don't even matter. Really do.
There's so much to be thankful for, grateful for,
It
so
is.
much
Yeah.
that we take for granted. Like you said, I mean, for me, I wake up, like, even before I'm fully awake, I'm already thanking the Lord that He let me wake up. I already sense that I'm waking up, and I'm thanking Him that I have that opportunity. And I take life very seriously. I take people very seriously. Losing my mother at such a young age made me value that. Like, I know sometimes people are, like, money's not the way to my heart. I like to be comfortable, but money's not the way to my heart. Being valued, being appreciated for my existence is those are like important things to me. People wanting to spend time with me. And we talk about the love languages, people like different ways to being loved, but waking up every day and just the things that we just take for granted of, not everybody has that opportunity. Not everybody has a bad life because they made bad choices. Some people were born into bad lives. Some people were born into generational dysfunction. Some people have had it all and lost it all. And they say we're all one life experience away from things not being the way they are right now. Um, Losing my mom made me realize that. You wake up one day and somebody's there, and you wake up and somebody's not. And I know you've experienced that the same. Um, and I think that I'm not saying it should be a humbling experience, but it is a humbling experience when that happens, because then you do have that sense of like, damn, like maybe I didn't appreciate it when I should have, or I shouldn't have, didn't know to appreciate it, you know?
Um, this is the woman that brought you into this world that you'll never see again, never talk to again. And I love my mama greatly, but I never really realized how much I would miss her. And I was friends with Jenny for a long time. And I really didn't realize the hurt that Jenny could have felt because she told me she lost her mother at 11. And I felt for her, but I really didn't feel for her until I literally felt that pain. And I was an adult. I couldn't even imagine. And it didn't even dawn on me until after I lost my mother. It dawned on me like, wow, Jenny had to be really devastated because she was only 11. I was 40 in my 40s. And well, hell, I might have been 50, but I was devastated. And it almost made me feel like I couldn't move forward because I grieved her. But to be 11, I couldn't even imagine. I called my friend and my heart hurted for her even more after realizing that, oh my gosh, this pain that I feel, to feel that at 11, Jimmy's a strong woman. She a strong woman. And to be the woman that she is today, God had to be with her, having a mama at 11. And I'm just thankful to see that, what type of strong woman that she has become. And her mama at 11, not having that role model, not having um that person to be able to go to and love and hug and kiss and share all your secrets to. And that's me saying that's how I felt when I lost my mama. I knew all that was gone at 50. But at 11, that's big, sis. That's big.
Well, and as you say, I'm grateful, a heart of gratitude for God giving me the resolve to be able to make it through life. Life has knocked me in the gut. I have more times than I can tell you. I suffer from depression, and there have been times that I would go to work, before I had my kid. Actually, even after I had him, when he was a baby, I was going through depression a lot as well. I would go to work and I would come home and I would immediately go to sleep. So I was functionally depressed.
Mm.
um,
That's a real thing too.
yeah. And,
The episode.
I mean, and I was sassy. I've always been sassy. And, like I tell people all the time, like, I am grateful now for my journey because I didn't realize how much of an impact what I went through throughout my life would be used. God would call me and use me to share my journey with people and bring others to share their journey with people so that others would understand that you don't walk alone. Like, we're all in this collective together. We're all in this world together to guide each other and to, be authentic. And again, like, people were like, oh, I don't want to hear sad shit. But, the people who don't want to hear sad shit are the people who haven't been through sad shit. Because if you've been through the loss of a parent or a child, like, I have several friends who have lost their children. And again, like we talk about the person who brings life to you, but then like you bring life to these individuals and they're not there anymore. And I don't care what anybody says. The bond between a mother and a child is in itself is divine. It is God in itself that he would allow a human being to live in a person's body.
Oh man.
To be able to feed off the nutrients, to like my son is carrying around my brain cells now. And, like I have to live with the fact that he's super smart and I may not remember a whole bunch of stuff because he sucked my brain out. you know, you know, we can sense each other, we can, a mother and a child, you can sense being with each other. You can sense their presence. You can look at their face and know when they're not okay. But I am so grateful that I have made it to 48 years old. Every day I wake up, I'm not embarrassed at all. Like you said, I'm not ashamed at all of my journey, and I'm not ashamed at all to say that I'm 48 years old. My mother died when she was 37. So every birthday is a tribute to another year that I made it past knowing what she would look like at this age. I'm grateful for AI at this point, just for the simple fact that
I love AI.
That I can age progress her and I can see what she would have looked like at her age now. So that the other day I did a video for her birthday. It was a video tribute. And I took an old picture of her that was a still, and it made it into like this animation. And it brought so much joy to my heart to see her turn around and smile at me.
Absolutely.
I mean,
and that's sad. That's not sad. And nothing we talked about is really sad today.
Yeah.
That's, again, having a heart
of gratitude.
of gratitude.
Yeah.
Just grateful for all the things that, life happens and mishaps and miracles. Again, like you said, if you don't want to hear what they deem to be sad, then.
Yeah, because a lot of the people who don't want to hear the sad stuff are the people who, again, are in addiction because they don't want to talk about their own sadness. Life is not just sad. I mean, it's fun and exciting and beautiful. I mean, like, things that I've got to experience in my lifetime. And I know you with memories.
All we're doing is talking about memories and life issues. That's ain't nothing sad about talking about life issues, because you're going to have those. And as long as we live, we're going to have life issues. And some may be more happier than others. But, hey.
But life be life, and
it be life.
I love that saying. Like,
it be life.
When people ask you how you're doing, before we used to be like, blessed and highly favored, or like, bless your heart. Now when people are like, how you doing? But life is life be life. And, you don't have to fill them into the deets, but, just the simple fact that life be life and there's ebbs and flows of life, and there's good times and bad times and
highs and lows.
For everybody. It's not, it's not isolated to, not to minimize what you're going through, but it's not isolated to just you. And that's the thing is, I did a TikTok today, and yesterday I was in a pissy mood, and I did a TikTok about me being in a pissy mood because I was in the carpool line, and that irritate me. But then I got right with the Lord overnight, and colored my roots, and then everything was fine. And then coloring the roots, and it didn't. It's like it just like I don't know. It went into my brain and was like all is well. And then today, just like I just was talking about the importance of finding people. Like we are all going through things right now, and it's rough right now. But finding people who can pour into your life in a positive way is so important. And I'm not saying people who tell you what you want to hear. I'm all for the truth shall set you free. You do need to find people who are going to be honest with you and tell you the truth. But I think it's very important to have people who can pray for you, or who can listen without judgment, or who have ideas to say, hey, have you thought about it this way? Or I've experienced this before. And when I approached the situation in this way, it seemed to have worked better. Because we are all new at this. We're all new at every day is a new opportunity for us. I've never been 48 and some months. And so like, this is like surprise when I wake up, like new shit, new day, and then, having a preteen is a whole new adventure, because some days they like you and you're their best friend, and other days they think you're trying to destroy everything that they love. Having the compassion and the understanding, like, to know, like, man, this is a confused little individual. I had to be upfront with my son the other day and told him, like, hey, just want to let you on a little secret here, but most humans are confused. Most adults have a small child living in their brain that is subconsciously having a temper tantrum at any moment, depending on where your age progression stopped or got halted is the age of that child. So mine's about 12 years old. My son and I are about the same mentally at times, and it's not good. But I told him, I said, we all have a side of us that doesn't want to be responsible. We want to have fun. We want to go play, and we want to go do all these cool things. And then as we grow, we have to become responsible, and we don't like always to be responsible, but it is what we do. It is how we keep going. And again, I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to live another day, to be healthy, to have a job to go to have a home, to have good people in my life. My teenager that made me a grilled cheese sandwich today, but also pissed me off yesterday. I'm grateful for every moment, and I embrace it. And at the core of everything, when we talk about, like, what do you remember about your life? And I was spoiled. I had a silver. I am. Well, I'm still spoiled, but it's by my imaginary friend. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Because your imaginary friend spoils you.
My imaginary friend spoils me and gives me things that I
might need to get me an imaginary friend.
You have an imaginary friend. He's still your imaginary friend. You get. Let's talk about gratitude.
Spoils me. I'm the one that spoils me. I'm calling in the replacements.
You're calling replacements?
I'm calling in the replacements to give you a new imaginary friend. Have you seen that cartoon of Replacements? Right.
I haven't. But
Oceana, when she was little, it was a cartoon called The Replacements. And every time she would get mad, she would say, I'm calling in the replacements to get new parents.
Oh yeah, is that kind of like Madeline? Have you seen that? The kid with like the two moms, and one's like one's a regular mom and one's like an evil mom, and so like whenever he would act up before, I would be like, I'd be like, a Coraline? Is it Madeline? I don't know, one of those two. No, it's an old cartoon.
Oh no.
But I would be like, I'm gonna call your other mother, the one with the buttons.
That's funny.
But yeah. But anyway, we're back to imaginary friends and God being good, and being
Just being
grateful,
grateful. Yeah.
yeah, is
And so as we approach Thanksgiving, it is just what it is, Thanksgiving. And that can go different ways. Be thankful for being able to be a giver, or just be thankful for giving another chance at life and giving another chance at whatever your endeavors are, and giving thankful for the things that's been given unto you. So that's the whole point of this.
and if you're ever in a position to where you are the receiver, if you are somebody that is being fed by the giver and you get to a place in your life where you have opportunity to be the giver, I pray that you pay it forward. I pray that you remember and are grateful to those who paid homage to you, to the people who poured into your circumstance and into your need, and that you reciprocate that kindness and that love to others, because we really, really need to be lifting each other up. We really, really need to be thankful to have the opportunity, as you said, to be givers. And again, we need to get out of this materialistic, physical mentality of giving and realize giving is your time.
So much more
Giving
than
is
that.
your love. Giving is empathy. Giving is kindness. It's a smile. It's saying hello to a stranger.
They look good today. Their outfit, you like their outfit, you like their hair. That goes a long way. That's sprucing somebody's spirits up and making them be able to live another day. Don't know what I remember the Lord told me that one word could change somebody's life, or one word could tear down somebody's life. What are you going to do? Because somebody can be on the bridge getting ready to jump, and your one word telling them something encouraging could draw them back to live another day. Or your word tearing them down could make them go ahead and finalize their decision to jump. So just remember that.
Well, again, thank you for being here, for pouring into the world, for answering for not straddling the fence, and being sure and certain. And I really do believe that God will pick people no matter the circumstance. And if you're in a bad place in your life, I'm pretty
Absolutely.
certain that He can use you.
You can.
And like, we like to thug it out, you know, thugs for Christ. Before we were not thugs for Christ, we were just thugs. And so, you know, um, as you can see, anybody can be used. Any willing person whose
Absolutely.
heart is open, whose heart posture is in a place to receive. And that is okay, one more thing before we head out. So when you receive that love that God pours into you, you have no other choice but to make a deposit. You have to give it. It pours so abundantly into your heart that you can't not give. And when you don't give and when you don't pour that love back, you struggle. That's that fight, like that Jacob fight, you know, not so rough, but it's, like, yeah, let's just receive the love of Christ, receive the love of God, that the goodness of God. No rules. God says, come as you are.
Yes, he do.
Come
He
as you
means just
are.
that.
And He means just that. Come as you are. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to wear your pretty dress or your nice clothes to church,
And
because you are the church. You are the church. I mean,
and you don't have to worry about where you've been, how much you have done, where you come from, because he don't care about none of that. I'm a firm believer in it. I'm a living witness of that, because I came from some very low places, done some very raunchy things, and he accepted me with open arms, as he would do any and everybody. And I love him, because I know he loves me.
and I love Him because I know He loves me. And I love you.
And I love you too, sis.
And cheers. Cheers to gratitude,
Thankfulness.
thankfulness, and a future full of promise and opportunity.
Absolutely.
All my love. And we